Hey, what's up guys? It's Kira Snow and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be going over episodes 4 and 5 of All Stars 9. So if you're interested in that, then keep watching. Alright, I'm going to be going over the highs and lows of first episode 4 and then episode 5. So let's get into it. So episode 4 is the makeover challenge, and we see the challenge is for the queens to make over firefighters. And in the beginning, they get to kind of do a little speed dating of meeting all the firefighters, and I thought it was really cute and almost like there's definitely some love in the air. And I think it was really nice how Georges and Plastique made an immediate connection with their firefighter who they end up being with. I can't remember the name of the firefighter they end up. It's Plastique, but she was like so great. But anyways, we see the queens put these manly men in drag, and it's really exciting to watch. I think the bond that these queens make with these firefighters is really special, and we see like throughout the episode that these firefighters are really there for the queen, and it's really heartwarming to see. So the different groups end up having wildly different looks, but I think my favorite was Plastique, Georges, and their firefighter. I'll put the name and their group picture right here. But I just thought the Powder Puff Girl group was absolutely like perfect, like on the nose. They got the looks like so down, and then their firefighter looks the most like the best drag queen of all. Granted, they had probably the easiest time because I think their firefighter was already kind of more used to walking in heels somewhat. It seems like they had more experience to begin with. But nonetheless, I feel like Plastique's group did the best at transforming. But it turns out that Rue says Roxy and Vanjie's group wins, which I didn't think their firefighter look was as successful. I mean, there was a transformation, but I could still kind of see some masculineness. Like the makeup didn't totally mask and create like a full-fledged like drag queen or full-fledged feminine unclockable. And we get a really good meme out of this episode as well. The firefighter responds on the stage during the critiques. He was like, "They told me no one could clock." And I can really hear in the back of my mind, like I imagine Plastique literally said that to the firefighter, like, "No one can clock you." That I believe that actually happened. So yeah, they had a lot of fun with it. And Angie and Chanel's, I think they made their firefighter look very feminine, but the problem was I think they made their firefighter, their firefighter actually was really good, but the problem was that they didn't look like cohesive. They weren't like a cohesive thing. And then as far as performances, I think, definitely Natasha's, while she had the best makeup, she had the worst performance. And then as far as performances, I think Plastique's group and Roxy's group were about on par. It's just I like the looks better in Plastique's group, so I think they should have won. But we see that the top ends up being Vanjie and Roxy, which I disagree with, but it's not my race. And then so we see that Roxy and Vanjie lip sync for the win, and it ends up being a tie. I think they both equally did bad. I didn't think anyone was exceptionally good, so I mean, it is what it is. And then they mutually decide to snip Angie, who seems very non-thrilled about that. Now we're going to go dive into episode 5. And so we see the queens talking about, just debriefing about the snipping, who got snipped. Angie's like pretty sour about it because she said this one felt personal, and Roxy says something weird. She's like, it's not personal, it's just an eye for an eye, which I get what that means, but at the same time, it's like, it's kind of an oxymoron, because it is personal if it's an eye for an eye. So, but I get what she's saying. She doesn't have a personal vendetta necessarily. Actually, no, she does. So, yeah, Roxy, the logic was not logicking there. But I get what she's trying to say. She's trying to say it's not like she hates Angie or anything. It's just she wanted to keep it even, the score even. But I get that. But anyway, the queens start explaining how Roxy was trying to do this math about, oh, if she gets blocked, then this and that and this and that. And I think, Chanel was trying to process all of this and try to understand, like, what was going on. But, like, simply I don't think she interprets and views the drama and clicks and everything the way that other people are viewing it. So she said at the beginning she was trying to be aware of all these alliances and stuff, but she really tried to make sense of it, and she just simply doesn't care anymore. And I find that really hilarious that, because her face, like when all the queens are explaining, like, the drama and, well, not really drama, they're explaining how they predict things to go based on the interpersonal relationships between the queens and how that will affect the badges and the blocking. And Chanel just doesn't follow any of that, like, that way of thinking. And so she's just kind of like, she's like, okay, I'm over trying to figure it out. I'm just going to do my thing. And I think that really speaks to how very specific her personality is, and I find that really endearing about her, that she's just so unique. She's just gonna do her, and she can't even fathom these mental gymnastics these other queens are doing. So, yeah, I love her for that. But we see the Millie challenge is with the Teletubbies, which is really iconic. I think arguably the best part was RuPaul, like, doing his, like, model walk with the Teletubbies. I was like, fierce. Like, I don't know what's going on, but it's fierce. And then the main challenge this week is the realtor commercials. So we see some kind of tension erupting between, like, Roxy and Vanjie, because I think they're talking about this, like, Florida isn't really, like, southern, whereas Angie's trying to do this whole southern accent thing. So it comes across as Roxy being a little bit like she's trying to make a slight at them. And so Roxy's like telling Vanjie, like, trying to clear it up, like, you should know me better than that. I was just talking about Florida. And so I feel like we see Roxy being a little bit messy. I think it's unintentional, but it is kind of a shady remark. So, I don't know, I just live for Roxy's problematic nature. And I feel like she just attracts drama. Like, even though she doesn't want to, it just kind of, like, comes to her. But anyway, next we have the day to night reveal. And the day to night reveal runway. And that's actually what I wore this necklace in honor of. It's supposed to be the moon and a flower as the sun. It's kind of like hard to tell, but that's what it is. So in the runway challenge, I think some of the tops were probably Gottmik, Plastique, Nina, and and Roxy. I should probably rate these. I would say Roxy's is kind of like a 4.8 out of 5. I would give Gaunt Mix like a probably a 4.9 out of 5. I would give Plastiques a 5 out of 5. I give Nina's probably a 4.9 out of 5. So overall, I like Plastiques the most. But Gaunt Mix was really great because it was unexpected. She had the suit in the front and the hot pink lingerie in the back. So unexpected and very hot. And then Plastique had kind of this purple, beautiful Asian dress and then revealed to this very like metallic kind of ninja type suit that was so futuristic. I've never seen anything like it on Drag Race. It's just perfectly sculpted to her body. I don't know how that was even created. It's a wonder to me how that even, who even made that and what even material that is. It was wild. I feel like, you know, like people are gonna want that look. It's just iconic. And Nina's, although the middle look was kind of this like floofy thing, it was pretty, but I think it kind of didn't like make a lot of sense because it's like you're going from a nun to like this ballerina, like kind of punk ballerina to this like gown. But I did like all three looks. There is kind of a storyline, it's just not super clear. But I did really like the gown, the reveal to the gown that said God is a drag queen. I think the message from the nun to the gown made a lot of sense, but the middle one, it was a little confusing, but all in all, I liked all three of Nina's looks. I mean, the nun look was kind of a throwaway, but I think this week was a pretty strong showing for Nina in general. I did like the gown quite a bit, and it was the most surprising of all the reveals to me, and it had a message, which I really liked. And then Angie's look was the weakest, with the patterns clashing. It was just really ugly to me. So let's get into the realtor commercials. Pretty Dead Realty was a 4 out of 5. I think Nina did knock this out of the park. She had a super solid week this week, and she was really funny in the realtor thing. I think Chanel was just doing Chanel. You know, she didn't. I don't believe she wrote most of the script. I believe it was mostly Nina, but at least she memorized her lines. You know, good on her to be prepared. And then I think the best this week was Plastique and Roxy. I think Plastique really pushed herself to be like ugly and funny and wild, and it really paid off. And Roxy was an excellent character foil to Plastique because Plastique was kind of the dumb one and Roxy was more like the clever one. So I think the way they played off each other was really smart and made the skit way more interesting. Angie and Vanjie's was solid. It's kind of like expected from them, so I think that's why like it didn't really surprise us. We knew they were going to do something like that, so still good, but you know, not great, like not amazingly over the top, like unexpected. Like this is the first time we've seen like Plastique kind of like become something, like become funny, like really funny, and you know, Roxy kept it interesting. So, whereas Angie and Vanjie was a little more predictable. And then Cher and Tiff as Georges and Gottmik was pretty horrible. I mean, it wasn't cringy like that bad, but I would give them like a C minus. It just wasn't it wasn't like super funny. It was just kind of like tepid funny, like, or like you knew they were trying to be funny, but it wasn't really fully accomplished. It's almost like something that like probably like a high schooler had made or something. Like no offense to them, they're both like amazing. I just think their pairing wasn't really great because this type of comedy is neither of their strengths, it would seem. I think it would have been great if they had just made Georges like a penguin or something, or like a little elf to be themed with the snow. That would have been really good because like Gottmik could be like the serious one, and then Georges could be like just some little like penguin like on the side doing funky stuff, and like then they could focus more on like having a good planning out the jokes and having like a solid storyline. So that would have something like that would have been great. And I think like RuPaul touches on this later where he's like, Georges, your comedy lies in like your little isms, your little like cutesy bootsy things that you do. Like you're gay. So you need to like figure out what caricatures and things work with that. And then Georges cries. Oh my god. Seeing Georges cry like was really sad. Because like I know she's trying her best and it was like really weird and unexpected for her to cry. Not weird, but like how it happened, it was just, it was like organic but at a strange time during the critiques. That was all that it was. But I do love seeing queens show what seemed to be genuine emotion. You know, they're humans too, and this process of Drag Race is stressful, so it makes sense. And I think she's gonna grow from this. You know, RuPaul gave her a really good critique, like on how she can improve. So that's probably gonna serve her a lot if she actually like uses it and listens. But Roxy wins the lip sync between them, and I find it really interesting that when Plastique, I actually thought Plastique did better in this particular lip sync, but what's kind of holding Plastique back in some of the lip syncs, I think, at least in my opinion, that I noticed, is she doesn't really emote. Like, her face is not, like when she lip syncs, she's not, like, making all these facial expressions. She's keeping, like, a model face. Like, resting bitch face like this. She just goes, like, variations of that. And I'm like, girl, like, where's the emotion? Like, what is with this? And I know in her confessionals, she gets very animated, but it's like, as soon as she gets on that stage, something about her face, like, she just is eternally stuck in, like, model pose. From what I've seen, it's very odd to me, and I think she could do a lot better in the lip syncs if she just emotes more with her face. That's what lip syncing is. So, yeah. Wonder if it's because English isn't her first language. I don't know. But anywho, Roxy tries to do this thing where she doesn't look who's on stage, and she instead just like waves the scissors around back and forth, and she coincidentally lands on Angeria, which is wild because she just cut Angeria. And so now she turns around and she's forced to figure out, okay, who instead of Angeria does she pick? And Roxy is like crying, she's stressed out. I can't tell. I don't think, it's a bit like, I don't think she would be so maniacal as to like be acting like she's set like that. This is an act. I think she is really truthfully like sad and stressed that she has to make this decision. But anywho, she ends up picking Gottmik, she says, because of badges. It's just so funny because Gottmik is like, okay, I'm being an emotional support queen here. Like, I'm the one who should be sad, yet now I'm comforting Roxy. So it's like a wild time in Drag Race, like history, to see this kind of weird dynamic where Roxy tries to like randomly choose and then miserably fails and then cries about it. It's just weird altogether, but it makes for good TV. I was really gagged when I saw it. But But comment below if you think Roxy was acting or if you think she was being real, that she was stressed and sad about having to choose someone to snip. I genuinely want to know, like, was that real? Was it all an act? Was it a ploy to make sure that she wins in the end and not make an enemy of Gottmik? We'll see. But anyways, that's all for this review. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok and subscribe to the channel. Give me a like. You better do it, okay? But also thank you. Okay, bye.